Hello and welcome to Fantasy Take TV. It is our teams and trades video right before round 8 begins. So yeah, we'll go through a few talking points on Sunday teams very briefly, and we'll go through our trades. So I'll throw over to Eno. Eno, you've got our updates for Sunday teams.
What we got? Just for Sunday teams. So we'll try and do this quickly. Lions and Eagles teams just came out because they were delayed before, and Hugh Dixon, a big one. A lot of people, myself included, were probably going to be fielding him this week, and something's happened and he's not in the team, and they literally have Harry Edwards in the ruck and Callum Jameson. I don't even think he's played. Has he even played a game before? I don't know. But so he's out, and then I'm sure everyone else knows the rest of the lineup. So I don't think there's been any late changes thus yet. The question I'm going to ask you two is George Hewett. On the Sunday, he's obviously been ruled out, and then there's been comments from Vossi that he doesn't sound too confident that he'll even be back next week. So, JD, what are your thoughts on people wanting to trade him? And that, he might have to be out for another 2 or 3 weeks for it to be worth it. But then he does have the first buy. So what's your thoughts there?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I see a lot of people saying, like, you should trade him because it's a 3-week injury or a 2-week injury. But if he's already past 1 week, it's not really the case anymore. It's a 1 or a 2-week injury. And generally, we would hold for 1 or 2 week injuries for players top of their line, which is what Hewett is. And it's not even like he's at a $650K price tag where you could potentially downgrade and free up money or anything like that. He's actually at a pretty low price himself. So it's not like you get a lot from trading him per se. So if you're a team which already has great bench cover, so maybe you've got McCartan and Hinge, or Gibkiss on top of those, and then SDK's your D8, then it feels like you could carry him through the next couple of games pretty easy, and you wouldn't even consider trading him. I think the big thing is, as you've kind of touched on, is that they do have that first buy, and it's also the buy where a lot of teams have problems in defense. So you've got Short, Ridley, Whitfield, Doherty. There's other obvious options I'm sure I'm missing as well. And so potentially getting out someone from that first buy would be useful for your team, and then trading him back in after that buy. So I think if you're flush on trades and you think it's a 2-week injury and you weren't going to use your trade to do something better than that to begin with, then I could see why you would entertain trading him. But in almost all other situations, especially any of those where it's a 1-week injury, not trading him would be best, because if he's back next week, he's going to be the number 1 trade-in target for everyone, right? So yeah. I think that's the risk you run if you want to go the more aggressive line and trade him out this week. I've probably got enough other problems, and I've got good enough bench cover that I don't really consider it right now.
Yep, George. What do you think?
Just hold. I think you can loop. He plays Sunday, so you can loop him with whoever. So yeah. I think I'll be looping SDK and Paddy McCartan. So if it's another week, fine. I'll just loop again, hopefully, and then hold.
Yeah, look, if it's 2 weeks, then you've probably done well out of it, because you'll miss the buy. You'll probably play only 2 of the next 5, and then you would have done well. But if he comes back next week, you just feel like an idiot, and nothing would have gone right. All right, we'll quickly go to JD's team. We're not trying to keep this pretty short tonight, but what are your thoughts on your team, JD, and your trades?
My trades are still live. I need help. So saying this is going to be short and then cutting to me for trades is probably not a good idea, because I'm
we thought you might have to go.
You two as we go along, say, like, is this what I should be doing? All right. So I guess a few things going on here. Defense probably shouldn't be touched with both McCartan and Hinge back. They've got reasonable break evens. In the midfield, Berry seems like he's pretty much capped out at price, but has got a very good matchup with the injury, health and safety protocol riddled West Coast. And then I've got Dacos as well, who is someone we originally wanted to hold through the buys and would be good to throw down back. But coming off Gastro, we've seen what that's done to Butters and Degoe in back-to-back weeks. And I'm kind of worried about holding on to him and him leaking cash potentially.
Yep. Flu, not Gastro, but...
Flu. Ooh, slightly better. That is slightly better. And then, Dixon in the forward line is probably the big one that needs to be gotten rid of. I think the other thing that I'm considering for my team as well is, like, Durden, McDonald, Roses, Dixon. I can't really be getting Curtis into this forward line, because I want to get all of these people off the next week or two. I don't want any of them on my field. Although, I mean, this team as it is at the moment, probably, like, Martin should be down there.
Yeah, Martin can be
anyway.
On.
Sorry, I just quickly did the reverse trade and hadn't touched it from last week. So, all right, so Dixon out, I think, is the obvious one for me. And Parker is probably the one I need to get in.
Yeah.
Let's say I trade out Berry over Dacos, which I'm not sure if that's the right move. Boys, you got any thought on that one?
George?
I think you're probably going to get rid of both over 2 weeks, right? Or are you playing a hold one for the buy?
Unless, I mean, so the thing is, if Berry has a good enough score this week, say he goes 100, you could probably hold him, but he's still one of my more cashed out rookies.
Yeah.
If Dacos has a good score, I think you hold him for as long as you can as well.
Berry's definitely got a high ceiling. You could play for ceiling like that, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's the call you got to make. But I still think this trade setup is correct, but whether it's Berry or Dacos, I think these trades, the other three are all pretty much locked in.
So McComb I can then loop with Dill Stevens at the moment. And that seems like all right. I've got mostly all the bad rookies off with this setup. The other question is, it feels as a team that's further behind and with 3 trade boosts still coming into this week, it feels like I probably should be using it rather than sitting on it this week. It's just hard to see what I could do with that. So sideways in Hewett, I don't know. It feels like a small advantage at best, to a Sicily or something like that. Maybe if it was Stewart, it might be a different story. Or like one of the underpriced midfielders that I already all have. I've already got all the underperformers. So doesn't seem to make sense there. Or I could try and get ahead a week on rookie trades by getting in someone like a Greg Clark this week, which is normally like the biggest no move.
Everyone's making money except for Stevens.
Yeah. So I could trade out Stevens this week to Clark.
Yeah.
Nah, you can still wait a week on Clark unless you really want to field him.
Next week.
I would probably just hold off.
I get the thing. It gets you like extra money for next week. Like, what would your trades next week be right now?
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm not sure because it gets me about 123k, and it's probably not enough to do a double upgrade or anything next week.
No, you're probably just like downgrading next week, getting Cooper, Hamilton, and Carroll.
I'd probably just hold it, to be honest.
Okay, well then I think that's probably the setup. So McComb is looped for tonight, as well as Dunkley, vice captain. And then I can put Ward on instead of McComb if he doesn't do well. Defense, I've got DeConning looped with Hinge, I think, in this setup. So depending on how, And then the forward line, it's just as is. Like, I hopefully don't have to field either of these two.
Yeah. All right.
So, cool. I think you can just figure out what you're going to do next week, I guess, and then decide whether you want to get rid of Stevens or Clark or not. If you need 3 next week, then you can do it. Otherwise, no point.
I think the Berry versus Dacos, that's the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Berry versus Dacos is definitely the hard one.
That is
because Richmond is a decent matchip as well, I think, for Dacos. Like, you should be able to rack it up in the back half. If he was at 100%, you'd probably be comfortable
if he didn't have the week he had, then it'd be easy.
Yeah.
All right, George, are we doing yours next?
Yes. So this is my wonderful team. It's a bit of struggle town at the moment, but so I think defense, I got Hewett on the bench. Midfield, I must be the only one with Horn Francis. I just haven't had the chance to get rid of him. And then I have this praise set up, and I need to fix F6. So pretty easy one for me. So Dixon out, could be sub, not sure. McComb to the forward line. No, sorry, McDonald to the forward line in for McComb.
Yeah.
But
what do we think on McComb's job security? Just quickly, since I think we're all getting him.
I think he's got decent upside. Like a lot of these, job security, I think it's probably performance based. So,
yeah. I mean, we've seen Bevo have mature age rookies like McNeil and Scott or whatever hold down spots as long as they play their role. And the interesting thing for McComb was that he did concede a goal to Essendon for not holding his space on the wing, but then he was coached on what to do or whatever, and he held that for the rest of the game and played pretty well, like 21 touches, 2 goals, good numbers despite his foot skills not being great. And there's no one in the dog seconds that are knocking on the door for a wing spot. So it feels
he was ahead of Scott already, who came in this week. So just needs to hold that.
Scott was out for health and safety protocols, so I'm not sure he was necessarily
It's hard because now Bond's out.
But I mean, I think it's the best option. And also, if it's your only potential dead rookie, like looking at George's bench, I think the others all have decent job security, right, up and down, or top to bottom. So if McComb goes dead, say it happens, at least you're trading to a 1 or 2K rookie to make that happen. So it's not really a big deal. And the upside is it's a really good cash generator with decent job security.
Yeah. So I'm not watching him. I watched him the first game and I watched bits of him in the second game. Watching him, I thought, wow, his foot skills are going to get him out of the team. But he did enough good things, I think, to hold his spot for the time being. So, I think mature age, good numbers. I think I'll grab him. But yeah, not perfect job security, but I think he'll hold for a time being.
So you can loop him.
Yeah, so I think it sounds like, well, if Connor McDonald's managed, you would think that he
can't be sub. I don't think he will be.
Yeah, so if not, God, I don't want to field Hobbs. Otherwise, I can trade out of it with 450k and get rid of someone. I don't think that's a good idea though. Or I can just switch Martin and then field one of these. Oh Christ, I don't want to do that. So what are my options here? Well, there's Luke Parker is the number one target in the game at the moment, probably along with Tuke Miller and Cripps. And then, well, I don't have Max Scorn. So tonight I'll see how Sam Hayes goes. If he scores bad, straight to Gorn, I'll have to miss Parker and get him in the last buy. Yeah, I have Dunkley and Heaney plus Parker plus all the mid rookies that are having the middle buy. It might cause trouble, so I might just have to pay up later, which is very annoying. But yeah, if Hayes does good, then I can field him for this week and then go Horn Francis to Parker. And also I can see how McComb goes tonight. So I'm not going to execute the trades just yet, but yeah, I'll just do one of those two trades. And then if I go Parker instead of Gorn, I want to hold the money for Gorn next week. Because otherwise I have 200k. I could boost to get Dacos to any defender I want, but I think I'll just make sure I can secure Gorn next week. So that's my plan. So for now, I'll just do it for the video. Probably going to do this.
Do the Gorn one? Yeah.
I feel like it's an opportunity, to not go Gorn and go another route, and hopefully Hayes can get within 60 points every week of Gorn, given their price difference. But yeah, it's going to be painful watching next week, and you have to have Gorn at some point. And if he keeps going up, then you're just going to pay 700 anyway because you need him for the buys. So yeah, that's how I'm looking. And then probably VC, I don't know, say McRae into Neil, maybe VC Neil actually into Cripps, because I think we'll take Neil regardless.
Yeah, so, that's why I kind of like going for upside, but yeah, fair enough. All right, we probably should move on to mine. I think we've already done quite a few minutes here. So as I got Hewett out, of course, but I don't really want to touch the defense either. It's already pretty much 5 defenders with now Hinge is back. I'm totally happy fielding him, and as JD is, I can loop him. Midfield, happy there. The question is who goes, but I think Berry now I can just keep. I was going to do Berry and Hayes to Cripps and McComb and just hold Horn Francis because that's the only way I can afford it in 2 trades. But I think I'm just going to boost now. Annoying thing is that Clark's out because he'd be good for on field this week.
Yeah, you got 3 donuts. That's annoying.
It's annoying. So
I think 2 back though.
I've got 3 boosts. I think I'm just going to use one because the only way I can get to Cripps in 2 trades is with Berry out, but I just need a good on-field score. So he's got to stay.
It's the worst part with Clark out and Curtis not really being an option because of our forward lines already, because you want to be boosting this week. You want to be using all your boosts now to upgrade your team as quick as you can. Yeah,
so Cripps has to come in.
Yeah, that's a good trade. Must feel good seeing his name finally in there.
Yeah, look. We'll see. It is though. It is lucky that he did get injured, and I can still get him at this price because he'd be north of 600 by now for sure. So I got to make up 70k here, and I think the only guy I do like is Curtis as the other rookie. So I think it's just there's no one else really. You could go early, I guess, on a Carroll or something, but even then I'd have no more forwards in the mids. So I'm pretty stumped here. I think the only thing I can come up with is McDonald to and this is because I'm trading Horn Francis over Berry, right?
Can you trade Hayes over
Wait, hold up.
McDonald?
If
I can.
If McComb scores well tonight, can you trade Berry to Parker?
As in I can only get do Berry out as well.
Yeah. Oh no, but there's no way, right? Because
it's just not enough money.
Cash. Yeah.
So I can do Hayes instead, George. You're right, and get Curtis. But then obviously, if McDonald's sub, which I don't think he will be, I can do that, and it gives me more cash in the bank for next week, I guess. So yeah, it's a bit annoying. I'm not totally set on it, but I pretty much got to decide now. So it's just annoying that Clark's out.
I see.
No, I didn't get Roses.
Oh, then you can go Curtis. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't mind.
I mean,
Like,
he's
his
got good job
security's good to
security.
me.
He's got good job security. There's no way he's getting dropped. He's been like I wouldn't say the hardest, but like basically tried the hardest
No.
last 2 weeks of
And
any North player. Like he looks good. In other teams, he'd be scoring 70s. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice him too much in the games because they've been beltings, but looking at his heat map, he was getting half of his possessions in the back half, or like, you know, the back D50, like he was getting
Yeah.
well up the.
So I disagree. Like I have noticed him in North games because he's like brought fire around the ball and like a little bit of like X factor and a little bit of fun and like, you know, laying his body in people. I thought he like, you know, doing spin moves and stuff.
So I mean, I noticed him up forward. I just didn't realize he was getting the pill back there. That's what I sort of meant by that. I definitely did notice him up forward.
Right. I get you.
Like in that Geelong game, he had like 4 shots on goal. So anyway, this is how I'm looking. I'm looping on all lines. I'm getting, you know, best of De Conning and Hinge, best of McComb and Ward, and then best of Curtis and Durden. How much points that actually gets me, who knows? And then I'll VC the big fella into Neil. So and we've gone longer than we said we would. George, any final thoughts, mate?
Yeah. No, it looks good. Are you going to grabbing Parker next week?
That's the aim. So it'll be Barry. Hopefully he gets a big one, gets close to 400k as he can. What's his break even? I think it's 80 odd. So he probably can't go too much higher, but him and then I'll probably have to double boost and get double downgrade again, which I'm not, you know, I can get rid of Owens. He's been dead weight for 8 rounds now. Get him to Carroll, and then I don't know. The other person out is tough. Maybe it's have to be a Ward. Or something to make the cash up. Hopefully Parker doesn't go too big.
He will. It always happens when you wait a week. Always happens.
That's all right. Jordan to go. He'll be waiting for you next week, Eno.
Yeah, I'll join.
Don't do it, Eno. He's bad pick.
Worry,
no, he'll be all right. He'll be all right. You got the CBAs. Anyway, I think that's all from us from now. I think JD, you got to go take care of the kids at the dinner table. So thanks for joining. And thanks again, boys. And good luck for this week, and we'll see you guys next time.